Okay, so I want you to think back to your first experience in school, probably in kindergarten, maybe even pre-K. I want you to think about the structure of your day and what you did throughout the day, if we're going to understand this hidden part of education. You get at school, you put your stuff away, you find your friends, but you know at some point you have to start learning, you have to start work. Then you know that you gather around the teacher, you sit quietly, and you wait for instruction. Perhaps she will tell you it's going to be time for numbers, time for letters, or time for writing. Eventually, you learn that certain parts of the day are divided up into particular times. One time for letters, one time for numbers, one time for snacks, one time for naps. Throughout all this, you are learning something beyond just the letters and the numbers. We're learning behaviors. We're learning how the world works around us. This is called the hidden curriculum. The curriculum is what we use as teachers to organize what we want you to know. A curriculum in my social problems class arranges all the information about social problems. The hidden curriculum in school are those hidden things that we want to teach students. Hidden in the sense that it's not obvious like math or words, but it is nonetheless an important part of the function of schooling. Think about what you're learning when you learn to sit quietly and wait to be called upon. Think about how you learn to sit down and gather around the teacher. This is a behavior that you will engage in throughout the rest of your entire schooling career. Part of what you're learning is how to obey authority, how to respect people's space. Even during playtime, you learn that you can't simply take other people's toys, that you have to ask politely, that there's particular toys for particular people. All of this is learning about things like property and self-control. You're learning that the day is divided up into particular times, and at particular times of day you have particular tasks. It starts to look a lot like the workplace. You learn how to be obedient. You learn how when you see other people behaving better than you or worse than you, that they get more or less stars. And you see that people with more stars get something good. So you learn that you're in competition with other people for rewards. All of this is training you to be a functional member of a capitalist society. Think about lining up. We're teaching you to be orderly, to move in a particular part of the hall, to not simply get in people's way. All of these are aspects of the hidden curriculum. Now, there are other things, of course, that we socialize children into in schooling. Socialization, remember, is learning the basic aspects of culture and society, norms and language. So schooling functions as a kind of cultural transmission. Beyond just those skills, we're teaching you norms around social space, around good words and bad words. We're teaching you about wrong and right in our society, about how people dress and shouldn't dress. We know that students also learn from students around them about what they want in life, what their expectations should be. We've seen that when students go to schools with students with more higher aspirations, they tend to absorb those aspirations. So maybe you just wanted to go to a community college, but you transfer to another school, everyone's thinking about Emory, or even fancy places like Columbia or Harvard. We find that that tends to raise people's lower expectations if those around them have them. And all of these things we're learning are also based on the power structure in our society, which is raced and gendered. We learn early on that teachers treat us differently based on the color of our skin. Many black and brown students learn that their active or rambunctious behavior is seen as worse than that of white students, and it will get them in trouble. Girls learn early on that they're not expected to do well in math or science. And these kind of gendered expectations part of the hidden curriculum as well, carry along and further into our lifetime.